7 questions. My name is Larry Jones, and I welcome you in the name of the Lord Jesus. Questions are great inventions. Questions awaken sleeping minds and get brain cells churning. Questions, pertinent questions, are pesky things demanding answers regarding issues that have been avoided. Am I correct in concluding that, generally speaking, Christians do avoid taking inventory of their own spiritual condition? That we don't give eternal matters the same consideration as temporal matters? These 7 questions just might raise you to a higher awareness of spiritual realities, from less relevant matters to much more relevant matters, from the world we see to the spiritual world we don't see, from man's perspective into God's perfect perspective. 4+ decades of Christianity has taught me that, generally speaking, Christians' lives revolve around life down here more than life up there. Here should be a preparation for there. Lord Jesus wants us to take him seriously, to exchange the life we have for the better life he has for us, to prepare for that day when we stand before him at the judgment seat to give an account. Brothers and sisters, we will give an account to Lord Jesus. These 7 questions are regarding the judgment seat of Christ. The value of our eternity will be revealed that day of account, that day of encounter with Jesus Christ. So here we go. Question number 1. When is the last time you considered the judgment seat of Christ? Many years ago, as the Lord was teaching me the judgment seat of Christ, I was puzzled and troubled by the fact that this monumental event that every born-again believer is walking into was a subject largely avoided. 2 Corinthians 5:10. We must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that each one will receive the things done in the body according to what he has done, whether good or bad. Winter is coming. Christmas is coming. Easter is coming. Your birthday is coming. And the judgment seat of Christ is coming. There will be a day. The Bible declares it so. Lord Jesus and you and Lord Jesus. The day approaches when, Romans 14:12, each of us shall give account of himself to God. Give strong consideration to the upcoming judgment seat of Christ, though your neighbor and his neighbor do not. Be diligent to prepare for your eternity. Question number 2. Will your works on earth prove to be, 1 Corinthians 3:12, gold, silver, precious stones, or wood, hay, straw? Actually, it will be both. There will be gold, silver, and precious stones, representing the good works of your Christianity, and there will be wood, hay, and straw, representing the careless, wasteful segments of your Christianity. Our works on earth will be, 1 Corinthians 3:13 and 14, revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work, what sort it is. If anyone's work endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss. There will be a fire. Perhaps our gold, silver, and precious stones, which will not burn, will be covered with our wood, hay, and straw, which is quite flammable. We will stare intently at the fire burning our large heap that represents our Christianity on earth. Will anything be left when the chaff is burned off? Will we see some gold and silver and precious stones? If so, how much? Question number 3. What must we do to do the works God requires? This question was asked of Jesus. What must we do to do the works God requires? Have you asked Lord Jesus the same question? Lord Jesus, what do you require of me? To keep the 10 Commandments? Give my money to the poor? Does God require me to turn off the TV and pick up the Bible? Lord Jesus, just what do you require of me? Jesus' response to that question was amazing. Let us give full consideration to his words found in John 6:30. The work of God is this, to believe in the one he has sent. Isn't that incredible? The works we are to do on planet Earth are not works at all, but to believe in Jesus. Jesus is talking about relationship. Believing in Jesus is living life with Jesus, a day-to-day trust. Good works will come out of that relationship. Not wood, hay, and straw, but silver, gold, and precious stones. Question number 4. What will be the reward for those who can give a favorable account at the judgment seat of Christ? I don't think anyone knows the full answer to this question, but it is safe to conclude that those rewards will be generous rewards. After all, it is Jesus who dispenses those rewards. And who is more generous than Lord Jesus? Also, those rewards are eternal rewards. It was Jesus who said, Matthew 6:20, lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. I am of the opinion that the greatest reward is Jesus himself. We determine here on earth the depth of relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ in heaven for all eternity. Strong relationship here, strong relationship there. Question number 4. What will be the punishment for all the wood, hay, and straw we have accumulated? There will not be punishment, but rather a lack of rewards. Said another way, our punishment will be rewards we could have earned, but didn't. We will be less wealthy than what we could have been. We will fully regret all those wasteful days and weeks and years. Question number 5. Why isn't the judgment seat of Christ preached more often from the pulpit? The fact that pulpit people, generally speaking, avoid the subject of the judgment seat underscores what I have been saying throughout really videos. Pulpit people are not, generally speaking, Christ's appointed leaders. They are their religion's appointed leaders. And this most certainly includes the evangelical religion. Pulpit people, as stated many times, avoid Jesus. Sparingly do they preach Christ at the pulpit, and more seldom do they speak of him away from the pulpit. Perhaps they simply cannot allow the upcoming judgment seat of Christ to be a living reality to them, because such consideration would draw them back to first love and thus pry them away from the religion and religious lords who appointed them, and yes, the paycheck they and their families have come to rely on. Perhaps that is why pulpit people avoid the subject of the judgment seat of Christ. Question number 6. Will the judgment seat of Christ for most be a time of rejoicing or sorrow, satisfaction or disappointment? The answer is all around you. Are your neighbors fervent or apathetic? Do they speak Christ or avoid his name? Are they preparing for the judgment seat of Christ or living for the moment? Question number 7. Moments before your turn to give an account to Jesus, the supreme sovereign judge, what do you wish you would have done differently? I believe the answer for you is the same answer for me and for all. We will all wish we would have followed Christ instead of Christians, loved Jesus more, pursued him more diligently, spent our days strengthening our togetherness with him. Hail to the King. Hail to the Alpha and Omega. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.